This is the first video for the 5.3c lesson on volume of spheres. And we're going to skip down to number 2, and we're going to sketch a picture of a sphere in a cylinder. We might actually start with drawing the cylinder. We're going to start with a cylinder because that was the first shape that we studied. This is the height. This is the radius. And once we had the cylinder formula, we then derived or figured out the cone. And we're going to go back to the cylinder to figure out a sphere. So a sphere is a ball. And we want a ball or a sphere that fits perfectly in this cylinder so that the top of the sphere and the bottom of the sphere fit in just right, almost like a tennis ball in a canister. But normally we have like 3 balls in a tennis ball canister. And then the edge of each part of the sphere hits the edge here. And then we'll kind of make it look 3D so it doesn't just look like a circle. And then we have a radius. And there's the radius. If we need a reminder, here is the diameter. But there aren't any other measurements. There isn't a height. There's just the radius. And if we're given the diameter, we need to cut it in half. Okay, so we have this sphere or ball that's going to be perfectly nestled in this cylinder, and we're going to look through part of number 2. So it says we're going to write down the equation for the volume of a cylinder where the height is twice the length of the radius. So we're going to put equals 2r. And so we have the volume formula of a cylinder. And I'm just going to put this here just so I know which formula I'm using, which is pi r squared h. And then we're going to plug in 2r in for h. And we're going to get pi r squared times 2r. And then we're going to multiply in any order that we want to. So maybe we'll bring the 2 out in front. We'll put the pi here. And then we have r squared times r, which is r, or r cubed. All right, so now we have this modified formula for a cylinder. That's not the official formula, but we're going to use that to figure out what happens with a sphere. All right, and it says if a sphere has the same radius as the cylinder, we're going to manipulate the equation to show the volume of a sphere. And so the volume of a sphere is we're going to take our cylinder formula above, and we're going to multiply it by the amount of the cylinder that the sphere fills up. And if we just kind of even look at these basic sketches, we can see the sphere is going to take up more room than a cone. And the cone was 1/3. And in fact, the sphere is double. It's actually 2/3 of the cylinder. So it's twice as much. It almost fills up the whole thing. There'll just be some little parts on the edge that aren't filled in. So we've got 2/3 times the formula we have above, which is 2 pi r cubed. And then we're going to simplify further. We're going to put this over 1. And 2 times 2 is 4 over 3. 3 times 1 is 3. And pi r cubed. So we've got, this is our volume formula for a cylinder. And we can write it a couple of ways. We can write it this way with the fraction. Notice it's cubed. And then we can also write it this way as one big fraction. So there are 2 formulas for the volume of a sphere.